Well, welcome back to the channel. We're getting back on doing the wiring. Got the engine harness, or sorry, cab harness for inside underneath the dashboard. We're getting ready to do the engine harness and power wire everything through. So let's get ready for that. So we got the whole wire harness out of the 91 F-150 dashboard. So I have it sitting here right now to get ready to go in the cab. We still have to weld in the computer, so we cut the hole. So now we got to put this little piece in, weld that in, and then we can bolt the computer up. And we put the whole dashboard wiring harness in for the gauges, headlights, ashtray, light for the glove box. We got to figure out how to get that to work for this dashboard for the 77, because the 91 is all plastic and way different than having a full metal dash. So still got a lot of work in here, but first we'll get that hole welded up with the piece we need. Because right now we got our solenoid sitting here where it needs to be mounted, and then the rest of the harness runs around the whole thing and then comes back down. A whole bunch more connections. That plug and that plug got to go through that hole underneath the fender and then be plugged into the firewall. And then this harness, what's here, needs to be connected down to there, and everything on top of the block, and plugged into the lower part to go to the distributor for power down there. But we can't do this one until we get everything inside the cab. So I'm gonna get welding on that little hole down there, what I cut, and we'll be back. All right, so we got the plugs tucked through what we need. We got that welded in that hole, and then we got our ground for this down. So now we can put the wiring inside the dash and start getting that in. Alright, it's in. Here we go. Done. Nah, only if it was that simple. So we gotta get everything up and over and around. Gotta get those two plugs plugged in. What is this plug, and where's that other one? Here. No, that one's the computer. That's the one that's sitting down there. So this one goes through the round hole, and then the computer sits here. And then I got first two plugs to come through. These are going to be for windshield wiper motor, and then figuring out the rest of it, where it all goes. So let me get this tied in. Alright, so now on the inside we have these two plugs through. So now we connect these two up and put our ground in. There we go. Alright, so we've got these two plugs screwed in, or bolted in, whichever you want to say. Need to put the wheel liner in on this fender and everything. And then we got a couple of holes to drill for little plastic clips here. So, you know, like I got a hole way over there, but that's not going to reach because that needs to go like over here. That hole's not in the right spot. That one's not. So I got to put like one over here, you know, and then down the line to get it up and around all over. So And then we got to plug everything in between here and here, run all this down the side of the motor to the back, hook all that up. Well, we're getting there. And so, got the computer plugged in, got our main harness, the thing runs up, and behind, this is steering and headlights and windshield wiper switches. I just have them sitting here right now because they have to go in the dash somewhere's about here. Got the whole metal dash bolts onto this, and then we got our wires just on the other side of the shifter. Well, we gotta put through this channel, and then we'll be done in here. And once we put the dashboard in, we can start putting our gauges. I gotta run the speedometer cable from underneath up into this hole, up and behind and out through here still. And then I still have to order a new e-brake cable all the way down for the whole system, because there ain't it doesn't work anymore, so we had to cut that. And then the back ones are all seized for the drums. I got, I think, this side or that side so far for one of these two cables. I still have to look, but then I got to get this whole connection piece. That whole cable runs into that e-brake, or because I was thinking maybe I'll do a floor one next to the seat for e-brake, because that'd be easier being next to the shifter. Yes, not building a drift truck, but we're getting there on the wiring. Woo! Okay, so we basically got most of the wire hanging where we need it. So next we'll be bringing in the dashboard and getting everything hooked up and figuring. Alright, so we threw the chair in real quick, threw our dashboard in. It's just in mock-up, but already looks like we have a problem. So that's where the original one is. This is where the new one's going in for the steering column. Looks like I need to go that way still. So I'm gonna have to pull the dash back out, and we're gonna have to put the steering column in, see where it actually sits, and then see where we need to adjust everything. Because this is a big problem so far for this stage of the mock-up and starting to get all the wiring in and the clutch pedals and shit. So let me take the dash out, and we got the lines marked where we need to cut for down here for that. So I guess the dash is coming back out. Alright, so here we go. Trying to get this thing in here. That's always fun. This is where we have the dash line. Like, this whole thing needs to be flipped over to here, moved over. If that's like the way it's gonna sit. I mean, we won't know until we actually get it in. Oh, now we gotta get that piece to line up. So let me get that in and we'll get that together. Inside the engine bay is starting to look a little bit better, but still a lot of work. Alright, so this is that little plate what goes inside here for the sloppiness, but this piece only goes maybe an inch and a half inside right now. I need it to go at least 3 inches to slide down onto this. So it looks like I'll be lengthening this piece with an extension so I get a bigger bite. I mean, we're up to the firewall in there for the bolts and everything. And we got this bolted up in here. We still have to do the bolts for down there, but we're basically where it needs to be. It looks like I am far enough over because it had a little bit of slide. But I think the wheel needs to still go down, so we might have to cut and shorten everything inside the column a couple inches. But we're gonna cut the dash real quick and see where Alright, so get that cut. So these will be the two pieces will be flipped around because that was on this side. Now we're moving it over to here. So we're pretty damn close, you know, where everything will line up to be re-welded back together for these two pieces. But this, we're definitely going to push in. So I got what we'll end up doing because there's a little stud nuts that are on this bracket to bolt to this. So if I just pull them, move them up, re-weld them in, and I can push the whole column down. Same thing with that bracket underneath here. I can move that up, and then this whole thing can be pushed in a little bit more. I think that will give me feel better because of where the distance is here to the dashboard. I'm at least halfway. I want to be like here and be able to touch the dashboard instead of like almost to my elbow. Enough room for the shifter, so I don't have a problem with that piece. Saving you the boring, tedious, minute fucking crap what we do. I mean, I'll try to explain a lot of this like little shit, but pretty much simple fucking crap. Just shit ton of wiring, getting everything to fit. Fun part's gonna be headlights and markers, because this truck has our side running markers, so I gotta figure all that out with the new harness. So let me see, I think that's the horn. Let's see, this one's marker, this one's headlight. So these headlights have 3, and then the markers have 3 as well. But old harness, I have 5. At least on this side. For the driver's side, there's 5 wires. I think the passenger side is 5 as well. So one of them is the ground. What's extra? Well, we'll figure that out. I mean, we got the bumper on the truck, we got the frame rails in, our front bushings are in, 95% of the wire harness is in. You know, besides that goddamn thing freaking the box, that needs a lot of work. So I mean, all the wiring is ran to the back here. I still have my plug attachments for back here for my tail lights and reverse and everything. I still have my old Cadillac Dorado or whichever that car is for the old caddy lights. We'll be Frenching them in and shit, and then we still have to wire up the rear markers for running lights. But we got a ton of work to do on this. I got another section for back here to replace that, and some of the subflooring. This one has all its rails run across underneath, so I might just end up doing a wooden bed in this and then have to re-support the corner ends here, because these definitely need some work in here on either side, so we can put the tailgate back in. None of the mounts are here for one of the 2 tailgates I have. But this is going to be a whole nother thing later on. My biggest thing is just trying to get this all to fit in, so it's just going to be a lot of work. And I'll have to make a new glove box insert, because the old 77s come with a cardboard one. So that sucks. That thing fell apart on me. But until next time, hopefully we'll be a lot further by then for all this freaking wiring mess. We don't really have much left besides, like, you know, heater cores, you know, plugging in our solenoids, everything, screwing everything to the firewall. After we get the rest of the paint for in here real quick, just so it looks pretty when you open the hood. A lot of bolts to tighten down and shit. On the 7791 chassis swap for this truck. So we're gonna see if she's gonna start tonight. It's already 2 o'clock in the morning, so let's see. So we got most of our grounds all screwed in. We got our battery in, that ground's in, those grounds are in over there, this one's in, everything's plugged in. Our thermostat is in, new gasket, new lines for the heater core going in. So there's a couple other things what still need to be plugged in, but they're not important for starting a truck. Cab, I think I got most of the grounds for the cab inside all done. Because we got this one we put up here. I got the other one behind the column down in there. There's this one, but that's for the light switch for the headlights. So that shouldn't be a problem. I don't see any other grounds in the system. I mean, I saw the computer boxes and stuff to screw in, but I can't remember if on the other dash that they were on plastic or on the metal for being in there. So I'll figure that out later. But right now we are going to connect the two cables and see if we have power inside the cab. And we did get the dash all re-welded, so this piece was over here, this piece was there, so we swapped it for the column because everything got moved over for the 91 stuff that's going in the truck. Believe me, this will all get cleaned up. Won't even notice that I plopped it. Dashboard is ready for next step. When we do get power, first thing to check is when the fuel pump comes on to see if this connection is going to leak. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so the battery is hooked up. The guy had a kill switch on the truck, so I'm still running those wires for right now for testing. So we're going to put these two ends together with our pliers and see if we get power. Alright, so our power is connected for everything. So now when we turn the key, we should get some power. So let me set you up over here and see if we have fuel pump. Actually, first let's do cab. Alright, so turn the key and see if we've got contact. See if any of the gauges move. Oh, we got lights on and gauge moved. Oh, I don't hear fuel pump. So I think I need to put a bigger thing in for the clutch pedal for that sensor. So let me find something for that. I saw everything was coming on, fuel gauge was working, all that stuff for the dash. But the one thing wasn't coming on was my fuel pump. So now I gotta troubleshoot this. And I checked all the fuses underneath the hood, all the other grounds and everything. Everything seems like it's getting power, but for some reason the pump itself's not turning on. So I'm gonna hotwire it real quick and see if the thing comes on or if it's dead. Okay, so we have that temporary wired up. We got it right the first time. So now I got the fuel pump to work. So that means I am missing something in here or something underneath the engine bay for the fuel pump to turn on with the key ignition, unless there's something wrong with the steering column with the key switch or something, because that could be a possibility. Because I have these two relays, because one is fuel pump and one's for something else. but they take the same specific fuse. And I have a new one, what I have up there from one of the other trucks, and it's not those, so I'm assuming that it's steering column. So I'll just put on off switch, and I guess now we see if she wants to start. So let's see. Let's see if she wants to turn over and start. Hook the fuel up. Well, I guess now we see if we got spark. Maybe I'm not getting power. We figured it out. Alright, we got it running finally. Woohoo! Alright, guess now we can check for leaks and everything and see how she's doing. That was getting a little warm, so we're going to turn that off. But she is running. We got some pressure. And yes, we don't have the hosing and everything, and my air sensor's right in front of the valve for the intake for right now. And because for some reason we weren't getting power back here, so right now I just have it temporary on the battery hookup. So looks like I'll be doing an on-off switch. But let's see, it looks like she's charging for right now. See if she gets up the temperature in a bit. Oil pressure looks normal, almost half a tank. So, but yes, she's still a mess in here, but we do have the truck started finally. This is nice. So, woohoo! I still got a lot more work to do. I gotta figure out the horn. some other shit, so a little bit of cleanup. Doing good. We'll come back and see if the temperature rises and see where our coolant level is.